Humanity's golden age had ended in a blaze. Earth was no longer a beacon of civilization, but a smoldering ruin, glassed by an alien armada known as the Krylith Swarm. Their ships had appeared without warning, wiping out cities with terrifying efficiency. The world's greatest powers fell one by one. Governments crumbled, and hope became a whispered memory. Survivors huddled in underground bunkers and remote colonies, their dreams of peace shattered beneath the weight of overwhelming defeat. But from these ashes, something unexpected stirred, a spark of defiance that refused to die. Among the survivors was Commander Ilara Voss, a former fleet captain whose ship had been lost in the initial onslaught. Scarred but unbroken, she emerged from the shadows determined to lead humanity's fractured remnants. In hidden bases scattered across the solar system, Ilara gathered warriors, scientists, and visionaries, forging a ragtag resistance. The war was far from over. It had only just begun. The Krylith believed humanity was extinguished, but they had underestimated the power of resilience born from loss and pain. Humanity's rise would be forged in fire. The resistances first. Acts were small. Sabotage missions on Krylith supply lines, stealing weapons and technology from wrecked ships, gathering intelligence on the alien overlords. These guerrilla tactics unnerved the Krylith, who expected no challenge from the remnants of a defeated species. Rumors of human survivors spread like wildfire through the stars, inspiring other oppressed species to consider rebellion. The galaxy was changing, and humanity was no longer the prey but the predator reborn. Ilara's voice echoed across comm channels. "We are not dead. We rise." As Ilara's fleet grew, so did humanity's hope. Engineers reverse-engineered Krylith technology, adapting it for human use. Scientists unlocked secrets buried deep within Earth's ruins, unearthing ancient weapons and energy sources. Each victory, no matter how small, was a rallying cry. The Krylith, once complacent in their dominion, now faced an enemy rising from its own ashes. But the war would demand sacrifices beyond anything humanity had faced before. The path to victory was stained with blood, loss, and unyielding resolve. The first major strike came unexpectedly. Using stolen Krylith stealth tech, human fighters ambushed a vital supply convoy near Mars' orbit. The battle was brutal and costly, but humanity's determination shone brighter than ever. The victory was a turning point, a declaration that humanity was back and ready to reclaim its place among the stars. The Krylith swore revenge, but humanity had tasted hope, and nothing would extinguish that flame again. In the shadows of shattered space stations and hidden asteroid bases, humanity's resistance took root. Commander Ilara Voss worked tirelessly to unify scattered survivors into a cohesive force. Every recruit carried scars, not just physical but emotional, from a war that had nearly erased their species. Yet the fire in their eyes burned brighter than ever. They trained with salvaged alien weapons and learned to move like ghosts, striking Krylith outposts and slipping away before retaliation. Each success, however small, added fuel to the growing rebellion. Meanwhile, Krylith overlords grew impatient. Their arrogance turned to frustration as attacks increased and supply lines were disrupted. Supreme Overseer Zyrax ordered brutal reprisals against suspected human strongholds. Entire colonies were glassed in scorched displays of power intended to crush hope. Instead, these atrocities steeled humanity's resolve. Propaganda broadcasts by the resistance spread messages of survival and vengeance, reminding all that the age of alien dominion was coming to an end. The galaxy's oppressed species began whispering the name Ilara Voss with reverence. Among the rebels was Dr. Kian Mar, a brilliant scientist who had developed a weapon capable of disrupting Krylith bioshields, a breakthrough that could turn the tide. However, producing enough for the fleet was a monumental task requiring resources from every corner of human-held space. Risking everything, Ilara dispatched covert teams to reclaim lost factories and mines, while diplomats reached out to other alien species enslaved by the Krylith. Slowly, a fragile coalition formed, united by a common enemy and the shared dream of freedom. Back on Earth, beneath the ruins of once great cities, communities rebuilt with fierce independence. Children born into war grew up learning the art of survival and defiance. Stories of fallen heroes were told around flickering fires, embedding hope into the next generation's heart. Ilara's leadership inspired a culture that refused to be broken. The war was no longer just a fight for survival. It was a fight for the soul of humanity. The embers of resistance burned bright, promising a future forged by courage. As human forces struck deeper into Krylith territory, they discovered horrifying truths. The aliens harvested entire planets for biomass, treating sentient beings as nothing more than fuel for their war machines. This cruelty galvanized the coalition further. No longer was it just about reclaiming Earth. It was about ending an empire built on oppression. The war was transforming from a desperate fight into a righteous crusade. Humanity's ashes would become the foundation of a new galactic dawn. The Resistance's reach expanded exponentially after a daring raid on the Krylith data fortress Orbital 9. Human hackers infiltrated alien systems, exposing classified intelligence, and broadcasting the horrors of Krylith occupation across multiple star systems. The revelation united previously hesitant species into open rebellion. Former slaves and prisoners joined human-led militias, swelling the ranks of the coalition. The war became a beacon of hope, not only for humanity, but for every corner of the galaxy under alien rule. Ilara led a fleet through the asteroid belts of the Zeta Sector, engaging Krylith warships in a battle that would come to be known as the Spark. The fight was fierce, with human vessels using guerrilla tactics and their newly developed bioshield disruptors to punch through alien defenses. The Zerathi, a proud warrior caste, fell one by one to human ingenuity and determination. The victory was costly, but it shattered the myth of Krylith invincibility and inspired countless rebellions. On the diplomatic front, Ambassador Leah Serene negotiated fragile alliances with neighboring species, the Zelnari, a telepathic race with powerful psionic abilities, and the Vroth, fierce desert dwellers skilled in guerrilla warfare. Their combined strengths gave the coalition new advantages, both in battle and intelligence. Yet mistrust lingered beneath the surface. Many questioned whether these alliances could survive the brutal war ahead. Ilara knew the key to victory wasn't just firepower. It was trust. Deep within human labs, Dr. Kian Mar raced to improve their weapons, developing biological enhancements that allowed soldiers to survive harsher environments and fight longer battles. The cost was high, the process was painful, and not all volunteers survived the transformation. But those who did became super soldiers, the backbone of humanity's fight back. These warriors, known as the Ashborn, became legends, symbols of rebirth from destruction. As news of human victories and heroic sacrifices spread, morale soared. The Krylith Empire was no longer an unstoppable force, but a crumbling shadow. War was entering a new phase, from scattered resistance to coordinated rebellion. The spark had ignited a galaxy-wide blaze, and humanity stood at its heart. The Krylith unleashed their deadliest weapon yet, the Devourer, a colossal dreadnought capable of obliterating entire planets with a single blast. Its arrival in human-controlled space threatened to crush the fledgling rebellion. Ilara understood that the war's survival hinged on destroying this behemoth. She orchestrated Operation Phoenix, a daring plan to infiltrate the heavily guarded shipyards where the Devourer was constructed. The mission was perilous. Elite Ashborn units boarded enemy vessels in stealth, fighting through corridors thick with alien guards and bioengineered horrors. Captain Rylan Tark, a veteran Ashborn, led his squad with cold precision, each step bringing them closer to the heart of the enemy's power. Simultaneously, the human fleet engaged the Devourer's escorts in a brutal space battle, buying precious time. Explosions ripped through the void, and the fate of humanity hung by a thread. On Earth, civilians braced for impact. Evacuation efforts prioritized young and vulnerable, while the remainder prepared for a siege. Schools turned into training grounds. Factories focused entirely on war production. The world's survivors showed fierce solidarity, their suffering fueling the soldiers' resolve. Alara's broadcasts reminded them why they fought, not just for survival, but for a future free of fear. Despite overwhelming odds, the assault succeeded. The Ashborn breached the Devourer's core and unleashed a virus designed by Dr. Marr to cripple its systems. The dreadnought faltered, its devastating weapons silent for the first time. The victory was symbolic. The monstrous power of the Krylith could be challenged and destroyed. The war's flames raged fiercer than ever, illuminating humanity's unbreakable spirit. With the Devourer destroyed, momentum swung decisively in humanity's favor. The Coalition launched a series of offensives, liberating key star systems from Krylith control. Planets long silenced erupted in celebrations as enslaved populations reclaimed their homes. Alara's fleet became a symbol of hope and resistance, striking fear into the hearts of Krylith commanders. Yet the cost was staggering. Every victory exacted a toll in lives, resources, and morale. Meanwhile, the Krylith High Council grew desperate. Internal divisions surfaced as some urged negotiations while others demanded total war. Supreme Overseer Zyrax's rule was challenged by warlords hungry for power. This infighting fractured the alien war effort, providing the Coalition with openings to exploit. Alara seized the opportunity, orchestrating a bold campaign aimed at the Krylith homeworld, a fortress shrouded in mystery and myth. The human military evolved rapidly, integrating psionic support from the Zelnari and desert warfare techniques. From the Vroth, soldiers learned to trust alien comrades, breaking down centuries of suspicion and fear. Unity became the Coalition's greatest weapon, turning a ragtag resistance into a formidable force. Propaganda reinforced this bond, reminding all that the alien age was ending, and a new era had dawned. Alara prepared for the greatest battle yet. The war was no longer about mere survival, but the future of the galaxy. The Coalition's forces gathered for the final assault on the Krylith heart. The stakes could not be higher. Humanity was ready to rise from the ashes and end the alien age once and for all. Zyrax Prime was unlike any battlefield humanity had faced. A world covered in hostile jungles, toxic storms, and ancient alien fortifications. The Krylith had turned their home into an impenetrable fortress, filled with traps, psychic barriers, and mechanized guardians. The Coalition's forces landed amidst the turmoil, bracing for a siege that would test their endurance, courage, and unity. Alara led the ground forces, coordinating attacks with fleet bombardments. The jungle was a deadly maze. Each step could trigger ambush or environmental hazard. Ashborn soldiers spearheaded the advance, their enhancements allowing them to survive where others perished. Captain Tark and his squad pushed deep, uncovering secrets buried beneath Zyrax Prime's surface, remnants of an ancient civilization destroyed by the Krylith's predecessors. This history added weight to their mission, to end cycles of oppression. Meanwhile, the Krylith unleashed their psychic elites, attempting to fracture the Coalition's minds and will. Telepathic battles raged unseen as warriors struggled against mental assaults. Leah Saren's Zelnari psionics shielded troops and counterattacked, breaking enemy ranks. The battle became a war of mind and machine, with survival dependent on trust and resilience. As weeks dragged on, the Coalition suffered heavy losses but made slow progress. Communication between Earth and the front lines grew strained. but Alara's determination never wavered. The final push approached, promising a confrontation that could change the galaxy's fate forever. Deep inside Zyrax Prime's capital, Ilara faced Supreme Overseer Zyrax in a climactic showdown. The alien leader embodied the Empire's cruelty and pride, wielding dark technology and psionic powers. Their battle was fierce, a clash of wills, strategies, and ideals. Zyrax taunted Ilara, claiming humanity was doomed to ashes. But her spirit burned brighter, fueled by every sacrifice and victory. Their duel echoed across the command center, shaking the fortress's foundations. Ilara's Ashborn enhancements pushed her beyond normal limits, matching Zyrax's psychic. Assaults with iron will and precision. Allies fought side by side, holding off waves of Krylith defenders as the battle reached its crescendo. The fate of two civilizations hung in the balance. Finally, Ilara struck a decisive blow, shattering Zyrax's power source and breaking his psychic hold. The High Council crumbled without their leader's command. The alien empire began to collapse, systems turning against each other in chaos. Humanity had broken the back of tyranny, proving that even the darkest powers could be overcome. The victory was bittersweet. The war had cost countless lives and forever altered the galaxy. Yet, from the ashes, humanity and its allies began to rebuild, determined to forge a future defined not by conquest, but by hope and unity. With Zyrax Prime fallen, the Coalition worked tirelessly to restore peace and order. Liberation efforts focused on rebuilding devastated worlds and healing fractured societies. Refugees returned home, children played in fields once scarred by war, and diplomats negotiated treaties to prevent future conflicts. Humanity emerged as a leader in this new galactic community, respected not for dominance but for resilience and compassion. Ilara became a symbol of hope, her legacy inspiring generations to come. She spoke of the war's lessons. That strength came from unity, that survival required sacrifice, and that true power lay in protecting the vulnerable. Schools and academies taught the history of the conflict, ensuring that the sacrifices would never be forgotten. Yet challenges remained. The galaxy was vast, and shadows of old hatred lingered. The Coalition faced internal disputes and threats from rogue factions. But humanity's rise from ashes had created a foundation strong enough to withstand future storms. The alien age had ended, but the story of humanity's courage was only beginning. The stars shone brighter, reflecting a galaxy forever changed by the war that proved no empire was eternal. The Ashborn warriors became legends, their feats immortalized in song, art, and history. Veterans shared their experiences, guiding new recruits who carried the weight of a legacy forged in fire. They embodied humanity's transformation, once vulnerable, now formidable protectors of peace. Their enhanced abilities were studied and refined, becoming a cornerstone of future defense. Memorials across the galaxy honored fallen heroes from every species, a testament to unity and sacrifice. Annual commemorations reminded all that freedom was hard-won and required eternal vigilance. Humanity's scars were visible, but so was their strength. The Coalition continued to grow, incorporating new allies and advancing technology, always mindful of the past. Schools taught the stories of Ilara, Kian-Mar, Leah Saren, and countless others who shaped the war's outcome. The phrase, "We rose from ashes," became a rallying cry, symbolizing resilience and hope. Young generations embraced their heritage, determined to uphold the peace fought for at such a terrible cost. The galaxy entered an era of exploration and cooperation. Humanity no longer hid in the shadows but stood proudly among the stars, a testament to the indomitable spirit that refused to be crushed. As decades passed, humanity and its allies expanded their reach beyond the known galaxy. New colonies were established on distant worlds, thriving in harmony with diverse alien species. Scientific breakthroughs propelled civilization into an age of wonder, with exploration and discovery at the forefront. The horrors of the past served as a solemn reminder to cherish peace. Ilara Voss's name became synonymous with courage and leadership, inspiring not only humans, but all sentient beings. Monuments to her and other heroes dotted planets and space stations. Her vision of unity guided galactic governance and cultural exchange, fostering an unprecedented era of cooperation. Yet, in the vastness of space, mysteries awaited. Ancient ruins hinted at civilizations older than the Krylith, and unknown phenomena challenged explorers. Humanity's journey was far from over, but it was one undertaken with hope, wisdom, and the strength earned through fire. The war that ended the alien age was not just a tale of survival, but a saga of rebirth. From ashes, humanity rose, stronger, wiser, and ready to shape the destiny of the stars.